So thank you all for joining me today. It's another edition of A to Z with Janome. So my name is Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada. So thank you very much for joining me today. And I will spin this around so we can see it's another, again, A to Z with Janome. And today, Janome HQ Instagram Live is brought to you by the letter Z or Z. You know, when I was in elementary school in the late 70s, we pronounced it Z. Do Canadians still pronounce it Z? It was always, the Americans said Z for like zebra, but we were taught to say Z like shed. So then I was wondering, do we still say Z in Canada and Z in America? But either way, this is Z. We'll call it Z because it rhymes with Janome. So it is our concealed zipper foot. And isn't Tanya's drawing adorable that it's this little zipper? I thought that is so cute with the zipper coil. So yes, so Z or Z is our concealed zipper foot, or you might call it an invisible zipper. So I can't believe we're at the end now. Monday, or on Friday, July 10th, I will be doing a recap and show you my sample. This is my last piece, so I have to sew it all together. Oh, hello, Grandma Craw and Donna Jarrett. Hello, hello. So, yes, this is my last piece of my sample with this beautiful Tamaracate fabric of Z or Z for a concealed zipper foot. And, of course, I had to use a red one for Janome. But other than this cute little tab here, you really can't see what color of zipper that is. It looks like this is a regular seam in my fabric, but it's actually a concealed or invisible zipper. That's why it's kind of called invisible. And as well, you know, I have to peel back this coil for you to see my stitching. Even the stitching is concealed or invisible. And I will show you the secret of this Z concealed zipper foot and how we can do this again very quickly and easily and get such beautiful professional results. Now typically you'd be using these concealed zippers in again higher end, more expensive, ready to wear, evening wear, especially where again if you had a print, now I didn't bother to match this print, but if you had like a print and you didn't want to interrupt it with a big clunky zipper, then again putting in this concealed zipper is ideal because again you don't see the interruption of that seam at all. You don't even notice it except for, again, that little tab, that little telltale tab. And on the inside as well, beautifully finished. Like that's gorgeous. You really don't have to worry about lining it and hiding it or anything. So that's very nice. And again, it really doesn't matter even if you don't match your zipper with your fabric. Again, you can't see it on the right side. When I was in college studying fashion design, we would use a nail polish. Of course, I'd have to ask the girls for some. With these nails, they're definitely not polishable. But I would, you know, we'd color in with markers or again nail polish to color in that tab if we couldn't find an invisible zipper to match our fabric, because other than that tab, again, you really don't see it from the right side, and then there from the back side still looks very beautiful. Oh, hello, Bacon5864. Hello. Ooh, it must be very hot in Virginia today. It's gorgeous and warm here. So now typically this is the standard zipper most of us are used to. The coil is facing up, it's facing us. And there is the zipper tab, again, facing us. With your invisible zipper, all you're really going to see is that little tab there. So the tabs look a little different. The invisible zipper, the concealed zipper is a little more delicate. Again, traditionally like for evening wear, so it's a little bit more refined. But then the coil, this nylon coil part on the invisible zipper, it's on the inside, whereas on this standard traditional zipper, this is on the outside, you know, facing up. So the concealed zippers are backward basically, but again, that's the magic and why we would use them. So in this little cute clematis wristlet, for example, then no, I would not bother using an invisible zipper here. I mean, you could, but I really wouldn't bother in that. Instead, I would use it for, now I didn't make this gorgeous sample. Linda Pedsbecky, our former Janome educator and current Janome dealer in Georgetown, Ontario, at the Sewing Cafe, Linda created this beautiful sample using the three-way cording foot, a foot that I demoed here on Janome HQ, and our A to Z with Janome, that was the H, the three-way cording foot. So if ever you're tuning in late, or if you're a very new viewer, we had a lot of people sign up yesterday, so thank you all and welcome all to all of our new followers, that if you're new to the A to Z series, new to Janome HQ, you can go back to review previous Instagram lives on the IGTV icon that's on our Janome HQ main Instagram page, or you can go to the Janome HQ YouTube channel, and I've prepared all of the lives as videos, and I've cut out all the, beginning part where it's just me testing the sound and all of that, and then, I add music and credits and all of that. So yes, that you can go onto our Janome HQ YouTube channel to see past episodes. So here is the concealed zipper. Again, other than that little tab, you'd never know that that seam has a zipper in it. And again, what a great idea for a pillow, that instead of the closure at the back, that's part of the construction. This is the front of the pillow, actually, and it's got this beautiful, again, three-way cording. But that invisible zipper, again, even on the inside, beautiful. And again, I'd have to fold back the coil in order to see that stitching. So even on the front side, or even on the back side in this pillow, no one's ever going to see it. But again, if this were a garment, how beautiful that is on the inside. So that's a cool application to use an invisible zipper. Or how about, you see a lot of, again, evening wear, that you don't always have to have the zipper in the back, the center back of the seam. This is actually another dress that Linda made, again, years ago. This is in the side seam. So this dress actually goes over your head, but then you can tighten up the waist, around the waist. Whoops, and I don't want to... There we go. Then you can tighten up around the waist by having this invisible zipper. This is like the waistband here, that you'll have the invisible zipper there, so it'll make it more narrow again at the waist, and then there the zipper doesn't even open. It's stopped here at the underarm seam, so it goes all the way down there. And again, how beautiful that is. You really would not know that there is a zipper in that seam at all. And again, on the inside, it's really quite beautifully finished as well too. And I thought it was really fun. The secret behind using these invisible zippers is that, again, you can use a nice longer zipper than what you really need. Linda used a really long zipper and didn't even bother to cut it. So I thought that was kind of cute. Because yes, you can get invisible zippers in pretty much any size, oh, there's Tanya, hello. You can get, just standard, I think this is maybe a 10-inch, 8-inch or 10-inch or so, or then you can get like really big. This, I believe, was like 22 inches, so you can get them really long or really short, whatever you need, so you can easily find those. Now, more information on how to put in a concealed zipper will be in your manual. If your machine comes with a concealed zipper. Now our Continental M7, our brand new Continental M7, comes with the concealed zipper foot, and the Memorycraft 15,000 Quiltmaker that I will be demoing with today comes with the concealed zipper foot. And again, so there's more information how to do this concealed zipper in the manual. But if you don't have one of those fancy machines. Ooh, let me slide over here. You can tell I'm Tanya-less and Joe-less today, so I'm here alone. You can get the concealed zipper foot in a blister pack from your dealer. Now this is a 9mm for my 9mm machine. Check with your dealer to see if there's one for your 7mm or your 5mm. I was so impressed because I have a fabulous HD9, so when I was at the warehouse, when I was at the office the other week, and I realized, oh, there's a concealed zipper foot for the HD9, or this would fit the 1600p. So look how adorable that is, that cute little concealed zipper foot. So, you know, a lot of people think of the 1600p and the HD9 as, you know, really heavy duty machines for, you know, sewing leather and thick canvas, and they do, and they do it beautifully. But again, you can also use those machines for any fabric. You know, it's a fabulous regular machine, so why not put an invisible zipper in whatever garment or project you're making? Even on those high speed, heavy duty machines, you can still do something delicate like this invisible zipper, or concealed zipper. So I thought that was cute. So this is our regular 9mm zipper foot, which then I've shown on previous A to Z with Janome. This was E for the regular zipper foot. And again, the concealed zipper foot is Z or Z. And the secret behind it are these cute little channels. Again, a left side and a right side channel that allow you to lift it up. We can't see for the comments. Oh, okay, that's good. Excellent. Thank you. I didn't realize you guys can see comments too, so that's perfect. So yes, okay, so then there you can see that's I hope that's good. I can see that good. Yes, that there's channels underneath. So then that kind of spreads the coil open, if I get this the right way. And then again, the coil will go right in that groove like that, and then your needle is stitching. There's a little hole on the top side for your needle, and the needle is going to go right next to that coil. So again, it's so quick and easy. Back when I was again studying fashion design, we would take these invisible zippers and we would bend the coil back. So the coil is like this, and then we would bend it back on the iron, and we'd have to be really quick so we're not gonna, you know, melt the coil or anything. And then we would bend it back, and then using the regular zipper foot, then yes, we could move our needle and get really close. So if you don't have a concealed zipper foot, you can put this in with your regular zipper foot, and again, you can bend that coil back to the left in this case, and then your needle would go right next to it to make it really close. So that is an option, but it's certainly so much easier, again, to use the correct foot for the job, use the correct tools for the job. It just makes it so much faster and easier. So to do my concealed zipper, I'm just going to use regular straight stitch. So again, pretty much any machine would be able to accommodate. But again, I love using, one thing I love about my Memorycraft 15,000 Quiltmaker, there are so many things, but one of them is that, again, we've got our sewing applications. And a number of our machines have the sewing applications. Our Skyline S9 and Skyline S7, 9400, 9450, Continental M7, and again, our 15,000 Quiltmaker. So if I touch my little home button, and the sewing applications is this t-shirt icon, and it basically asks me, well, what do you want to do? So I can select zipper, and I've got two different types, a lap zipper or concealed zipper. And there I've already got many functions. The machine is already set up for me. Now also, if your machine doesn't have the concealed zipper foot and you don't have the instructions for it in your manual, then certainly you can go online and check for lots of videos, or you can consult our presser foot workbook, which I will talk about in just a moment. Or certainly as well, go check the Janome Life blog. There's lots of information there. So in installing my concealed zipper, I'm going to use this lock-o-matic stitch, which means that it's going to lock at the beginning of my seam, and then whenever I'm ready to end my seam, this little back arrow indicates the reverse button. So I'm going like the back stitch button. So I'm going to hit that, and it's going to lock off my threads. It's going to do a little back stitch to secure my threads. So I'm going to do that stitch from like the hem of my garment. Let's say if I'm going to be putting this concealed zipper in a dress, I'm going to start at the hem of my garment and I'm going to go up to where my zipper stops, basically. So that's what I'm going to use that lock-o-matic stitch for. But I also have like a basting stitch. I've got the two options of stitching the tape, the right side of the tape and the left side of the tape, as an extra line of stitching to stitch down the zipper tape. It would like you'd stitch it down here. So that's an option as well. Typically I don't bother with that, me personally. I just want to do one row of stitching to stitch again near the zipper tape. So that's what I'll be doing, but again you can certainly stitch down that zipper tape if you'd like as well. So first I'm going to slide us back here. Okay, I don't want to make anyone dizzy. So I've already got the marking here on my fabric, and I'm gonna sew again just our usual 5/8 of an inch. Oh, I suppose I could start a little more back on the fabric. I didn't realize I was so far forward. There we go. Okay, so because it's the locking stitch, it's automatically going to start sewing, and then it's gonna back stitch a couple of stitches, and then I can go forward. And when I'm going to get up to this mark here, I'm going to then hit my reverse button, and then it's going to reverse and then go forward, and it's gonna just do a little lock. Whoops, and then it stops, and then you can cut your thread. I ended up sewing a little bit more. So then, after I get that done, I'm going to open then, oh, sorry, I hit that. The camera is in between me, so in between my arms, so I hit it accidentally. Okay, so then there is my seam, and then on the, as I fold it out, this is now like the right side, my seam allowances. I'm going to want to press open. So ahead of time, you determine as well, do you want to serge these seam allowances? Do you want to maybe bind them with your W foot, the binder foot that I did for Janome A to Z, that you could bind these? So you choose however you want to finish those seam allowances. So on the right side here, though, I've made a mark. It's about 1/8 of an inch in. I just marked it with pencil, but you'd use whatever kind of marking tool you wanted to bring in my zipper tape. So then I can align my zipper tape exactly with that mark. So I'll remove my regular foot and I'll put in this zipper foot. There we go, and then our thread can go right down the middle of this little hole, and then use your tweezers. These say Janome on them, so I always say, oh, they work better if they say Janome. Yes, so then now I can go back to my machine here, and then say we're back to my screen. So now I'm going to put in the right side of the teeth. And this always confuses me and everybody else to think, okay, well then why does the screen show the icon is in the left? If you see the two holes there in the middle, it's showing that the zipper coil is in the left side of the foot, and yet you're sewing the right side of the teeth. Well, it's because it's backward. So I'm going to put down, this is the right side of my fabric facing up, and I'm going to put my zipper tape down so I see the coil, but then when I fold it and put it back on my body, like it'll be my right side, if that makes sense. So I'm going to line up the top. The big thing about any zipper, and especially these invisible zippers, you want to make sure like you lined it up evenly at the top on both sides. So I can just get in here and make sure everything's lined up, and away I go. And it's so easy to do. And you decide too, you can lengthen your stitch what I'm going to do just to speed things up as well. It's a regular 2.4, standard stitch. I'll just increase it for time's sake. And I'm just trying to keep my zipper lined up with that line. Now again, you could do your line of basting or your other row of stitching out here to the zipper tape if you wanted to. So once I get to down close to my opening, I fold everything out of the way. So then if you can see up here, so that's where I stop stitching. So then I've got my seam allowance out here, and I can stitch down just a little bit past that line of stitching. And I'll just do that. And then again, you could back stitch, or I'll just do like a little lock stitch. So that is done. And then on the left side, now I can go back to, again, my screen, and I would hit left side of the teeth, and then again, it's showing me in the right hole of the foot. But again, because this is backwards, so once you get your head around that, it makes total sense. So this, I'm going to put out like that. And it's really quite simple and really quite quick to do. And again, the results are really beautiful. And line that up in my groove. And line that up there. Oh, and I'll try not to sew too fast because again, the camera is on the table. But yeah, so you can see it's really easy of how, again, you're letting the foot do the work. You're not struggling. If you wanted to, you really could kind of fold back that coil a little bit and even move your needle over. There's not much wiggle room, but you could do that if you really wanted to. But generally, I don't need to do that at all. That was the joy of using this concealed zipper foot, is I didn't have to do anything to like manipulate the tape. So I'm getting close to my edge there, and again, I'll just lock stitch. So you want to overlap where your line of stitching ends. You want your zipper coil to, you want your line of stitching for the zipper coil. So there is my there's my where I ended my line of stitching from where I ended my seam. But then as I fold back my zipper coil, then you can see my line, my line of stitching went a little bit beyond that. So there's where my seam line ended, and then my line of stitching to put my zipper in just went a little bit beyond that. Now you'll be able to see as well, those two lines of stitching, oh my gosh, they don't line up. Oh no. Actually, this is what you want. This is your 5/8 of an inch seam line. In this case, again, if I'm making a garment from a commercial pattern, then there is my 5/8 inch seam line. And then there, my zipper stitching is about 1/2 of an inch in from the raw edge. So there's about 1/8 of an inch gap in between those two rows of stitching. But you want that so there'll be a soft roll of your fabric to help, again, conceal your zipper. Now it's a little bit fiddly to get this, there we go, grab onto this tab, and there. So on the wrong side, on the inside, again, if my seam allowances were finished, it would look very beautiful. And then on the right side, the main thing is there. Now, and especially with, depending on your fabric, if you're using this for evening wear, if this is a lightweight, chiffon or organdy or, like a silk or something, I really don't want to press this seam. I could press this one down here, and again, I'd open the seam allowance and then press that if I wanted to. And then this little tail at the end, I could trim that off a little closer if you wanted to, so it's not, banging around out there. So you could trim it off and then do a little zigzag stitch across, so then it's nicely secured. And then again, if you wanted to do, again, other line of stitching there to anchor that zipper tape to your seam allowance, then you could as well. But again, typically I don't. I like to leave as little stitching as possible. Again, depending on your fabric, if it's really lightweight and delicate, I really don't like to add more stitching than I need to. And then, so there, my two ends would meet. So I'd, if this were like a waistband, put on my waistband, or I would, if this were like the back edge of my dress, I'd put in probably a lining, or, I'd have that edge folded under and maybe add in a little hook and eye as an extra secure measure. But then again, there's our beautiful zipper, concealed zipper. Again, you really can't see what color it is other than that zipper tab. And again, it just looks so beautiful. You'd probably use matching thread there too, so then you wouldn't even see that. So again, that looks so beautiful. And then the main thing is that it looks like it's all part of the seam. So a little touch up with the iron very delicately, and again, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. So yes, it's very simple, very easy. Now, I mentioned the presser foot workbook, and yes, a great resource for so many feet. A lot of the feet, for example, like our buttonhole foot and the button sewing foot and the over edge foot, they come with many Janome machines. So those feet are in here, but then you can buy these separate addendums. So this is one specialty feet addendum. So this then you buy separately, and then there's another addendum for the cover hem machine and the attachments for that. And then there's another addendum for free motion quilting and ruler quilting. So again, if you're interested in all of that, I'd say, of course, pick up all the addendums. But if you don't have a cover hem and you're not interested in that, well then great, don't buy that addendum. And so then you can pick and choose which addendums you would like. Of course, I say, oh, get them all. So this specialty feet addendum is particularly useful because, as you will see, we talked about the three-way cording foot, we talked about the applique foot, we talked about the beading foot, we did talk about the buttonhole foot, we talked about the circular attachment. Oh, there's the concealed zipper foot. Ooh. We talked about the gathering foot and the pin tuck foot and the piping foot and the ribbons and sequins foot. So there's a lot of what we talked about. Oh, the ultra glide foot. We talked about the transparent button foot. So that's a lot. So again, that's a lot of more information of how you could do it. So, oh yes, thank you. I love it. Thank you so much. That's good to hear. Sometimes I think I'm explaining maybe a little too much and I don't want to confuse people, or that, yes, I'm always so worried I'm leaving out something essential. So thank you for the feedback. That's great to hear. So again, this is a great supplement, a great addendum to pick up with your presser foot workbook. And then it tells you the, little exercises on how to use all of these feet as well. So that's very beneficial. So you can order that from your Janome dealer. And something just quickly I wanted to mention too, if I've talked about this before too, this Terreal Magic, I absolutely love it when you need to beef up your fabric and just give it a little bit of stability. So if this fabric was, a really lightweight chiffon, something sheer, organdy, and it was, you just needed a little bit of extra oomph kind of to help you put in your concealed zipper, but you didn't want to use a stabilizer that you'd have to, dissolve, like a water soluble, or like certainly a tearaway or something. Then your Terreal Magic, you would, you wet your fabric with it, saturate your fabric with it, then press it, and it really stiffens your fabric. So that might help you control some of those, really slinky fabrics. And then it will just wash away afterward as well. So it's not going to be in there permanently. So that's a good, useful tip. So yes, thank you so much Janome thinks of everything. Yes, I agree, Cheryl. They certainly try. They also listen to feedback as well. So it's really good as well. That's one reason why I chose, almost 30 years ago when I bought my first Janome. That's one reason why I chose Janome, because they really do think of everything. And the more that they do and the more my machine thinks for me, the better. So yes, thank you all so much for joining me today. I will get out my little sample. So again, today Janome's HQ Instagram Live is brought to you by the letter Z or Z for our concealed zipper foot. So that brings us to, let's flip around. That brings us to the end of A to Z. I cannot believe, collectively this series was 9 weeks. And when I first started it, I thought, oh boy, 9 weeks. It's gone by so fast. It's incredible. So, but please join me on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be doing the review of A to Z. So I will hopefully have my beautiful sample Tamara Cape fabric. I've been doing little samples of each letter along the way, so I won't have it totally finished. I'll have the top finished, I hope, but then still I want to layer it together, and then I'll quilt it some way, probably on our Quiltmaker Pro that is down in the office in Oakville. So I'll wait to quilt it when I'm down there, but at least I'll have the top done on Friday so I can show you. So yeah, so please join me again Friday 1 p.m. here at Janome HQ for the recap, and then I'll also give you a little heads up sneak peek of what's coming up down the road, because of course I'm not done explaining all the wonderful things of Janome. There are so much of them. So we have plans for a new series that is going to kick off next Monday, July 13th. So I'll give you a little sneak peek on Friday. So thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see some of you, or hopefully all of you, 3 p.m. at Janome Sewing Machines page on Facebook. So we can do some more fun and fancy feet. And I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Yes, bye.